Well, that was a pretty peppy tune. Whew, I'm just about out of breath from doing a little dance. Hopefully you guys are awake and ready to roll. We are picking up with lesson 3 right where we left off. So this is our last example here, example number 4. It was about page 22 or 23. So you've done your practice work and hopefully you've got some help on the questions that gave you trouble. And we are ready to move on. All right, example number 5 and our last one today, number 6, are both about making Venn diagrams. So we've already done that activity on making Venn diagrams. So I'm going to say that you'll probably be pretty good with this by this point in the game. So let's give number 5 a try. It says, in a homeroom of 20 students, 15 take math, 12 take social, and 10 take math and social. So I'm thinking ahead to when I do my diagram, and I'm thinking about how I always have to start with that middle number. And I'm kind of happy to see they actually give me the middle number right here. So I know this is one of those Venn diagrams that will be a little bit easier to make compared to the ones where you don't have the middle number. All right, so let's get our 2 sets started. Now remember, everything in this rectangle will be the universal set. So this 20 students, that is telling us how many people we should have in the universal set. So everything in our rectangle should add up to 20. And 15 take math. Let's make this circle our set for the math. And again, 15 people should be in the math circle. And 12 takes social. Let's make that set S. So that circle should have a total of 12 people in it. And then the question is, how many students take neither math nor social? So the missing number is actually the number that is going to go out here. They don't tell us that number. Now, this would be a tricky question to answer without a Venn diagram. This question does give us that information that we should make a Venn diagram, but even if it didn't say make a Venn diagram, that would be the best strategy to answer this question. So let's start on the inside and work our way out. We've got 10 students who take math and social, so they belong to both sets. So we put them in the overlap. Now there's always a little bit of subtraction to do. We can't just take this 15 and plug it in here. In fact, watch what happens if I make this mistake. This is a pretty common mistake. So don't write this down. Just watch and try to understand. If I put 15 in here for math, look at that math circle right now. I actually have 25 people in that circle. And up here at the top, it tells me that there's only 15 people taking math. And look in this circle right now, I've got 25 people taking math. So my mistake here is that I forgot to use some subtraction. So let's go back. I'm going to fix up my mistake. So in this math circle, I should have a total of 15 people. I've already got 10 people in that circle. So I really only need another 5 people to finish off the math circle. Now, same idea with social. Social studies, I'm supposed to have a total of 12 people. And if you look in that circle right now, so here's my total for social studies. This entire circle should have 12 people in it. Now I've already got 10 people in that circle. So I'm going to finish it off with 2. And then the final piece, this what would be on the outside, how many people are not taking math or social? Well, let's add up the numbers that we have in here so far. We've got 5 plus 10 plus 2. We've got 17 students that are already accounted for. And I know that in my Venn diagram, I should have 20 students in total. So my little bit of work I have to do here, 20 subtract 17 equals 3. So 3 would be on the outside. And my final answer, don't just leave your Venn diagram and think you've answered the question. You still need to put your answer down and say 3 students took neither class. All right, so I think with all the examples we've done and the practice we've done, that this one probably wasn't too tricky for you. The next one, number 6, is one of those ones that's a little trickier because they do not tell us the middle number. And remember, we always need to start on the middle and work our way out. So throughout this question, they actually are walking us through the steps of making the Venn diagram. So what you see here and here, here, and here. These are all sort of the explanation of how to do the Venn diagram. So they're not like 4 separate questions. It's more or less them walking us through the process. And we already know our process. I'll still walk you through it, but we won't be really looking at these 4 steps like separate questions. All right, so let's read and get started here. In a survey of 400 households, so there's our universal set, 285 had personal video recorders or PVRs. 320 had multifunction printers. 63 households did not have PVR or multifunction printers. So this time the missing number is the one that goes in the middle. And that's the one where it takes a little bit of extra work. We need to make up that little equation and we have to solve for x. Okay, so let's keep reading here. It says, let P represent the set of households with a PVR. So this circle right here is for the PVR. Now remember, the circle is supposed to have a total of 285. But right now we don't know how to break the 285 up because this section plus this section will be a total of 285. It says let M represent the set of households with an MFP. So in this circle, these 2 sections together, we will have a total of 320. And then 63 households did not have a PVR or a multifunction printer. All right, so here's where it starts off with the steps of how to make the diagram. Let X represent the number of households that have a PVR and an MFP. So we'll go through the steps. We've done these steps before and we'll go through and we'll give them a try right now. So we've got X in the center. Now, I know that with the PVRs, that I'm supposed to have a total of 285. So these two sections together would add up to 285. So if this one is X, then this section would be 285 subtract X. And then for the MFPs, I know that the whole circle, which is this section plus this section, they have to have a total of 320. So if this section is X, then this section would be 320 subtract X. And out of all the numbers that we see up here at the top, the only number that we can put directly into the diagram without any work is this 63, which would go on the outside. All right, so I'm just going to take it down to where I have a little bit of space down at the bottom here. Now, remember that our universal set, 400 households were surveyed. And so our universal set, this rectangle, everything in there should add up to 400. So I'm going to make an equation, and this is what my equation will say. This section plus this one, plus this one, plus this one, all four sections add up to equal 400. So here's that equation. 285 subtract X plus 320 subtract X plus 63 equals 400. So again, what I've got there, I've got each section. There's one section plus the middle section plus the right-hand section plus the outside section, all to make a total of 400. So in our work, this negative X and the positive X, those add up to 0. So it's like they cancel each other out. And just to simplify here on the left, I'm going to combine like terms. So I'm going to do 285 plus 320 plus 63, combine all of those numbers to get 668. And then we still have our subtract X. Now remember, I'm solving for X, so I want to get X all by itself. So I'm going to subtract 668 from both sides. So negative X is equal to negative 268. So I want positive X, not negative X. So technically what I'm doing here is I'm dividing by negative 1. Always doing the same thing to both sides. X comes out to be positive 268. And in this question, that's really all they asked us to do. So in this final statement, here's where it comes out. Determine the number of households in the survey who had both an MFP and a PVR. So we've done that. That 268 is the answer. But I'd like to just go a little further with it to make sure we know how to make the whole Venn diagram and even do a little bit of interpretation on it. So I'm going to just take the information that we have up here. We have an X value of 268. So I'm going to substitute that in for all the X's that I see up here and make an actual Venn diagram. So remember what we see up here, this is not a completed Venn diagram. This is just our rough work, helping us organize our thoughts. Here's what our Venn diagram would look like once I substitute in the X. So the middle section 268. So that would be the number of households that have both a PVR and an MFP. I did 285 subtract 268 to get 17 here. Now that would be the number of households that have a PVR only. So they have a PVR, but they do not have an MFP. For this section, I do 320 subtract 268 to get 52. So there are 52 households that have an MFP, but not a PVR. And then we already had our 63 on the outside. So here's our completed Venn diagram. Now from there, we could ask all kinds of questions too, or be ready to answer these kinds of questions. So the one that we answered already is how many households have both? So that was the solving for that middle number. 17 is how many households have a PVR but not an MFP. 52 households have an MFP but not a PVR. 63 have neither. And then the question that is maybe the trickiest here is if we were asked how many households have a PVR or an MFP. Remember that or means add. If I was asked that question, I would have to do 17 plus 268 plus 52. That would tell me how many households have a PVR or an MFP. All right, we are ready to roll here, you guys. So that's it for today's lesson, and here is your practice work, page 24, numbers 5 to 12. And just a couple announcements for you in case you've missed it in the schedule. Tomorrow is your first quiz that will be for marks. So it'll be posted at 9 o'clock, and it is due the next day, so Friday morning at 9 o'clock. So you've got a full day to get that quiz submitted. And once you've finished this practice assignment, number 5 to 12, you may want to get a little extra help so you're ready for tomorrow's quiz. So check your email. I have shared a link with you that takes you to my calendar. And on my calendar, there will be slots, and you can click on any one of those spots and put your name in. And once you've signed up for your spot, I will then email a link so that you can join a Google Meet with me at whatever time you've signed up for. So please, if there are any open spots left at this point, please make sure you sign up. And if you just want to email your questions, you can do that as well. All right, guys, good luck on your assignment, and I look forward to visiting with some of you this afternoon and helping you out with your problems. Take care, everybody.